I don't see Jamie. Are we live? We gotta wait just a sec here. We'll get Jamie in here. Hello.
Good morning for me. Good afternoon for you. How are you?
I'm good. I feel like I'm short naturally anyway. And then when I feel like you're taller than me on this, I gotta figure out how to get this right. All right, cool.
Because I am not a tall person. So
hey guys, welcome with Coaching with Chris today. I'm pretty excited to be able to talk some mortgage talk, the do's and don'ts for 2023 with Jamie Cavanaugh. I got to visit with Jamie a little bit at Infuse. I got to talk to her about a couple times over the phone. So I don't know Jamie that good. So I was like, when I woke up this morning, I was like really excited, get to walk through. And I kind of know a little bit about your story, Jamie, of how you started in the mortgage business, but give us a little bit of update of how you started in the mortgage business, pretty young, and to today, and about a little bit about your company.
Absolutely. Well, this is my 26th year in the mortgage industry this year. It's been a long and very interesting ride for all of us who have been hanging around for as long as we have. Really simply put, my mom was a real estate agent. And so when I was in high school, I was always, I was in that position where they said, if you want a car, you have to pay your insurance. If you want to do this. So I had some incentive to get myself a little jobby job after school. My job was that of an LOA for a loan officer that worked at the company that was owned by my mom's real estate brokerage. And I watched and I paid attention for a long time. And I was like, those processors, their job is cool. I want to do what they do. They're picking apart the pieces of the puzzle. They're making things happen. They're analyzing stuff. I like that job. So I was in college after I graduated from high school, still working part-time in the LOA role. And then they offered me a processing role. And I basically started to train up. I mean, we're talking like the mid 90s, not to age myself too much, but I loved it. I loved the story. Yeah. The cool part is that I got to cut my teeth on the really kind of complex FHA loans, the first time home buyers, where it would take, 8 family members together on an application to qualify. And I got to see people actually realize the dream of home ownership firsthand. And it was incredible. And it's a huge part of why I've always been such an advocate of FHA loans, of first time home buyers, of the why behind kind of what we do. Mm-hmm. And then right around 99, I met Brad Rice, my current partner with Amerifund. And he said, hey, I'm bringing that very same loan officer that you were an LOA for over to my company. What do you think? We got this tiny little broker shop. So over the course of roughly 9 years, Brad and I took that small little broker shop with, I think, about 5 of us into a national wholesale and retail operation. We were lending in 43 states. We wrote our own hard money product and we're funding it on our RFC line. We built a massive operation. We had several hundred employees, and I got the opportunity to build something really, truly amazing. And it was a ride, a heck of a ride. And then, of course, the crash hit. We were funding great loans, but it didn't matter because our investors pulled the plug so quickly that everybody was a victim of that crash, regardless of the integrity with which we worked and the loans that we funded. Took a little time off, did the real estate thing, learned I'm great at being a real estate agent, but I don't love it as much as I love loans. So I grabbed an executive role at Bank of America, and I basically built out their post-sale foreclosure department, because back then that was where the business was. So I got to learn that side of the business. And then I went on to prospect, ran government insuring, the 203K renovation department, got my chops on sort of the audit and the post-closing side of things, got my FHA DE. Then around 8 years ago, Brad said, so a little tiny brokerage again. There's just 3 of us. What do you think? And my daughter was not quite a year. prospect was getting ready to relocate a bunch of executives to Texas. They'd offered me a great package to do so, and it just wasn't the right time for me to pick up and move. And so Brad and I started in again, and now we are, from 2022 to now, we went from roughly 12 people to pushing 60, and now licensed in 23 states, and on we go, because this is what happens when Brad and I get together on something, and here we are.
You know what I like about that is that I really feel like you and Brad have a amazing partnership, and not everybody. I talk to brokers all the time about a good partnership and a bad partnership, and what do you think is the true secret of how you and Brad really work so well together?
Well, I think honesty is a huge part of it, and being able to get real with each other when either something's not working the way that it should, or when one of us isn't spending our time and energy on the thing that is the highest and best use of our time. So we kind of do a thing where we agree to read books at the same time, and then we compare our notes on what we took away from the book. So one of the books that we read recently was called Rocket Fuel. And the concept behind Rocket Fuel is that it takes two entrepreneurs, two leaders to make a successful company, and that one is typically the visionary and one is the integrator. So the visionary is the person that comes up with all the grand ideas, and the integrator is the person that can look at them honestly and say, these are 6 great ideas. 2 of them are realistic to implement. I will go and do that with the team. And that is exactly who we are. And sometimes you get into each other's kitchen a little bit, like it starts to bleed over into the other side, and we realize we can be good at all things, but we are best at the things that come naturally to us. And so we are best, and Amerifund is best when we're doing the things that are kind of natural to both of us. And we've found a pretty good balance.
I think that's pretty cool. I could see you at the really good implementer. And I'll tell you, to give Jamie a compliment here, like, look, if you're in the broker world and you're going through 23, the secret is being a great implementer. Is what I always call myself the Xerox machine, because I'm always looking for some idea. I just go back and copy it, implement it, and put it together. And that's basically what Jamie's saying. And Rocket Fuel is a great book. If you guys haven't read that, go get it. It's on Audible too. It is a great book, and there's more to it and lots of meats and potatoes, but implementing is the key to our business. So, like, getting really super real, what do you feel has been some of your struggles as we roll into 2023?
Well, I mean, the biggest thing that I see and hear is this concept that we're in this horrible, challenging, awful market. And I think that a lot of that goes to the perspective that we have, right? We have a choice. Anybody that's been around a while, I like to call this a normal market. I like to call this the market that was, back when, because when I got into the business, rates were in the 11s. And so the challenge for me has been growing during a time when so many other companies are contracting, and really making that intentional choice to say, listen, revenue is not going to look great while we're growing. We know it. We plan for it. It's intentional. But if we can push forward some positive momentum and growth in the face of what many feel is a challenging market, then we are really poised to be incredibly successful when we get that next little, relief in the rates. And I think that the real challenge is leading everybody to be really consistent about their activities. I've watched multiple loan officers come into the broker side of the business over the last year with some of them came from call center environments where they were fed refinance leads, and they basically were starting from scratch in an environment where you eat what you kill here. I've watched a small percentage of them follow the guidance that we've all given, which is do the things that are common sense. Get in front of real estate agents, go visit open houses, differentiate yourself in the market. You can't just call a real estate agent and ask them to have coffee. They're like, why? I get 50 of these calls a day. Why would I have coffee with you over someone else? By and large in the industry, we're all offering something very similar, but there is something unique about each of us, something that people connect with, something that resonates, something that makes people want to work with us. And so the people that did that, the people that have not stopped doing that, have the momentum. They have more loans than they've ever seen in a market that many believe is impossible to navigate through. Do the things that work. It's not rocket science. It's not magic, but do it consistently and don't give up, because the results are not going to come as easily in this market. You're going to have to work 10 times as hard, in this kind of a market. But if you do it and you keep doing it, it's not if, it's when the results will come. And that's been the biggest challenge as a leader, is keeping everybody in a mindset where the instant gratification of 2020 and 2021 is no longer there. So can you stick to it through an environment where things aren't coming as easily?
Yeah, I hear you. I hear it. I hope everybody catches this. Like Jamie's saying, be patient. And if you're like me, and maybe even like Jamie, I'm not, like, patience not a great quality. I don't have a great patient quality. I want it now. I want it right now. And I want to see results. And yet, I think follow up and you're meeting a realtor once or twice or even 3 times. It's just not enough. It's probably 6 or 7 or even more of that continuous. And I see a mistake a lot of loan officers do is they make a lot of calls. They make a lot of face-to-face appointments, Jamie, and they make it about them. They make it all about me and how great I am. And I do this and I can do that. And like, what would be a couple tips to like take us out of it and really be intentional? That's our theme this week, is intentional and impactful with realtor relationships. And like, where do you see some things that would help maybe some new brokers, or even if you've been an originator for a long, long time, it's like time to reinvent yourself. What should we do to be more impactful or intentional?
Well, one of the things that we do as salespeople is we fall into the trap of we're selling ourselves. And so no matter what we do, no matter who we're talking with, we have this inherent tendency to just start talking about who we are, what we offer, and why and it's not because we think we're great or that we're egotistical. It's truly because we're trying to push value on the people so that they immediately get the point that we're somebody they want to talk to. But what we've learned, and you can look at, and I know you have all the statistics about how many times you have to reach out to a person to get them to respond. And did you know that women take 3 times as long to respond to stuff than men do? It's statistically proven. So you're going to have to get in front of women 3 times as often or 3 times as much in order for them to make a decision. They're slower to decide for whatever the reason. Here's what I do. I prep for my meetings by learning about the person I'm going to meet with and coming up with some questions for me to ask them. Because when I take myself out of the here I am mindset and into the who are you mindset, it does 2 things. 1, it gives me a lot of information with which I can use to build a relationship and a rapport with the person. But 2, it makes the person feel valued. People want you to care about who they are and what they're about. And you don't need to know what a real estate agent wants. They will tell you. Ask all the right questions and you're going to find out that they're giving you the roadmap to working with them. Ask questions and listen.
Yeah, we had Mr. Thank You the other day, John Israel, and if you guys have ever read his book or listened to him, he's super fun, but you just sounded just like him. And one of the things that he told me, which was, Chris, just shut up. They'll tell you how they want the relationship. And so that's my second, not as great a quality as shutting up sometimes. And you just said it. Like, look, I want you to repeat that saying when you said be more curious about them, but you said it in a way that I want to make sure that everybody remembers. It's not about us, it's about them. But how did you say that to yourself? Basically, what was the saying? It's about them, or learn more about them. How did you say that again, Jamie?
Be curious and be authentic and be interested. Be interested, genuinely interested in who you're meeting with. Because let's take ourselves out of the whole, I'm trying to get business out of you. Life is about relationships. Business is about relationships. When somebody takes their time to sit down with you out of their busy day, out of their busy schedule, they've already given you a gift. Honor that gift by actually caring enough to ask questions and be interested in who they are and what they're about. You may not necessarily create a referral relationship right then and there, but you created something that can benefit you and them in so many ways in the future that you may not even realize. The relationships I've built over the years, I can't, there's nothing more important. And they've come in handy in ways I never expected as we move forward. Like, I got a person for that. I know this person. Connecting people together and understanding who we all are and how we can all play a role in our sort of shared success is really important.
So you're becoming also a resource to the beginning of that relationship as well. And you're waiting for that, I would call seizing the moment. Would you agree?
Yeah, absolutely. And you have to know when the moment is, and it will be very different for each person. It might take weeks, it might take months, it might even take years. But guess what? What did you say about consistency and following up? We talked about that trap that loan officers fall into where it's like, I'm going to make 100 calls today, but I'm not going to follow up with the 10 people that actually engaged with me beyond one time. If you're not repeating yourself, you're going to get lost in the shuffle. Be top of mind. Offer value without an ask. We talk about social media 12 times a day.
Julie,
12 times a day. I think
you're back. I don't know. I disappeared. I went to outer space and here I am. Keep going.
Well, I just keep talking because much like you, I have a problem shutting up. So I'll just roll right through it. I'm Italian. What can I do? We talk. So anyway, what I was saying is basically that, we can't just be one and done. You got to be in front of people constantly. And even when you think you're repetitive and annoying, psychologically, we know from marketing data that we're not, that it takes that much to actually have people go, oh, mortgage, I'm going to think of Chris. That's who I should talk to.
Yeah, I think that's a really good point. And for all of you that's listening today, think of this. If a realtor thought that you were annoying, or a lot of times we think it when you say, Jamie, we think it more than they think it. But you're like, look, what originator would you like to work with? The one that has really good follow-up, that you know that I'm going to follow up with your customer just like this, or the one that just calls you every once in a while? And they need paid. They need to make sure that our follow-up games is better than theirs in many cases. Wouldn't you agree?
I totally agree. And when you ask real estate agents what it is that they like about the lenders they work with, which I would highly suggest you ask if you're having coffee with a real estate agent, who are you working with now and what do you like about them? Now flip the script. What isn't working for you? Guess what they say? They say, I need somebody who's accessible and available, who answers the phone on the weekends and the evenings, because those are the times when I'm most often writing offers or showing properties. I need someone whom, when my buyer goes into contract and they're ready to start the loan process, who I don't have to ask about, chase down, or worry about our contingency deadlines and our closing dates being met. I want proactive communication, and I want somebody that's out there advocating for our mutual client. Guess what you're showing them when you're persistent? You're showing them that you're that person. If you can do it there when so many others give up after one or two conversations, you're obviously going to be an amazing advocate for their client when they do get into contract on something. So it's also the way you do it. Do it in a very non-aggressive, pushy way. Just want to give you a ring and let you know I'm available if you have any scenarios you want to run by me. Whatever it is, do it regularly so that they're like, there's Chris again. I like him. I feel like I should throw him a bone. Maybe I'll give him the next pre-approval that I have.
Yeah, I like that. That's why I like Fridays, because I feel like a lot of their business is done over the weekends. And so reconnecting back in on Friday, hey, I'm available. I just wanted to shoot you. I don't want to take a lot of your time, but if you need something over the weekend, use me. I'll be here to help you out. And then they want to know is that they want to know the good and they want to know the bad. They don't want to be out on the island and then all of a sudden get it. And I think sometimes we're like, no, I'm going to fix it. I'm going to fix it. I'm going to fix it. But just having true honesty, I think you said it, being honest, and honesty throughout that communication means a lot to a realtor, because it seems like a real partnership. And I think a lot of times lenders like a one-way partnership. You give me the leads, I'll figure out how to get them closed. I don't think that's a partnership.
It's not. And something else that we've learned, I've had several panels at some different mortgage events where I've had the opportunity to actually interview top producing real estate leaders. One of the things they've said is when they were newer, or if they have newer real estate agents on their team, sometimes they don't know certain terminology in the mortgage world. They may not completely understand some of the words we use. Our vernacular is very different. It's like its own language, as we all know. CTC, whatever it is, COE. They like to have a loan officer that they can be honest about and say, I'm not exactly sure what you meant, and let the loan officer educate them enough so that they can now speak with knowledge and credibility with respect to at least the basics of the loan process. You'd be surprised how many real estate agents, they don't need to know the loan process, but they need to know enough about it to be able to speak intelligently to their clients about what's happening. And so the more we clue them in on what's going on, the good, the bad, and the ugly, the earlier we tell them something is not going the way we want it to, and tell them this is the plan of resolution. These are the things that could happen. This is what we're doing to mitigate the risk on it. We're arming them with a lot of information, and we're building trust, and trust is a huge deal.
So let's talk some tactics. I think that, in 23, you got into the mortgage environment, which I don't understand. I think I'm older than you, and yet you've been in it longer. So I don't know what happened here, but
we'll just pretend like you're older than me. We're good.
Okay. And I think we're not going to have that talk right now. But look, I want to know some tactics that's going to help me, and under two things. So my first question is, what is 3 things that as an originator today that I need to be doing to be able to capitalize on this spring market?
Number 1, you better have your database dialed in. I don't care where you do it. Find the CRM that you're going to use. Get an Excel spreadsheet for all I care. Get your database. Do you know who your audience is? It's every person you know, and every person they know, and every client you've ever closed a loan for, and every real estate agent that you've ever talked to, whether they've been on the listing side of a deal or they've been representing the buyer, or you just happen to see them at an event. That's your database. Know it. Secondly, get in front of it regularly, no less than weekly, in the form of some sort of a newsletter, a weekly update or something, and craft your message to your audience. CPAs and financial planners are a great source of business. That's one audience. Real estate professionals, another audience. Your borrowers and potential borrowers, another audience. Get in front of your audience. Be the person they think of when they think of mortgage loans. The second thing is, again, that consistency piece. Once you build this, once you start to do it, don't stop doing it. Don't drop off, because people get really excited when they see, like, wow, for 6 weeks in a row, I've gotten this cool email with a video that tells me something I didn't know about the home loan process before. And never once did this person say, call me for a loan, because it's inherent, right? Mm-hmm. Week number 7, nothing happens. Week number 8, it's crickets. They're asking, like, is this person still doing loans? Where are they? What happened? Stay on it. Stay consistent. And 3, plan and build. Because if you can do business in this market, imagine the exponential business you're going to do when we do get a bit of rate relief. Be ready. Ask yourself, if you were here in 2020, what things you could have done better or differently that prevented you from being even more productive, and fix them now. Now is the time to fix, and now is the time to build.
What are your 3 those are 3 great ones. Like, look, I literally lose my hair over LO's not calling their database. Like, it's so simple. Call A this week, next week B, next week C, next week D, and then you will touch your database twice via phone call. And I'm sure you've heard the stat, 27% of everybody that bought the last couple of years is unhappy. And you want them to be thinking about you. And we've all built big databases over the last few years with all these loans. Let's stay connected with them. If I'm going to call my customer, right, I think that what I say is the next step, Jamie. And you're saying get your CRM, get super organized, stay consistent, stay connected, and stay in front of them. But what do I say to my database, right, as I'm trying to connect with them? And make 1. And 2, if I'm going to send them stuff, what do they want?
Well, the conversations are so easy. So we've built a cadence of our communications. So right around the end of the year, every client and every referral partner in our database is going to get a reach out from somebody on the team. And it's basically a no pressure. Hey, Joe, just want to touch base. I want to make sure I have the correct email address for you, the most current mailing address for you. I'm going to be sending out some updates on the market, and I want to make sure that you get the stuff I'm sending out. No pressure. Like, hardly anybody gets angry at you for calling and just saying, hey, I just want to make sure. They know who you are already. You've got credibility, right? So there's that. The second thing we do occasionally is when we think that there might be a little bit of rate relief coming, we'll do the, hey, we want to make sure you're on our rate watch campaign. Again, let's make sure that we've got all the right information for you. Is this the right cell phone number for you? Want to make sure you're on a rate watch. The third thing is the Gary V. You never ask somebody if they have $5. You ask them if they know somebody that can lend you $5. Never ask directly. Ask them who they know. Hey, big news. I just expanded into multiple states. I'm now in Tennessee and Texas. I know that you're still in California, but do you have any friends or family members that I can help? And please keep me in mind, because I've really grown my business over the last year, and I'm serving clients in all of these states now. People get excited. They want to help you. They like you. They use you for their loan. Like, get them in on the conversation and let them be part of how you build your business. None of those things ask them to do a loan with you, but all of those things got you in front of them and made you top of mind.
I love it. And for those of you that are originating out there and you haven't been doing it, you're like, how do I start? You just start. It's like learning how to ski. You just push yourself down the hill. And I'm going to tell you this is the greatest impact thing you could ever do. Say you're sorry. Say you're sorry that I didn't stay connected with you and that I wanted to make sure, and then go right into what Jamie just said of getting the contact information right, making sure you got it all organized, and then, possibly putting them on a rate call. Maybe we like HomeBot. That's our choice of staying in contact with our customer. If you haven't got contact, I can send you the link. I think it's probably the cheapest way to stay continually in front of your customer with a financial type of report on their home. But like anybody could do this. Jamie, do you guys do this yourself? Do you have a team member do this? Like, how do you implement this process?
Well, most of our loan originators do it themselves. For myself and Brad, since we've really not been as actively originating with the growth of the company, we have team members here, 2 of them in particular, who've been with us for 15 and 19 years. They're fully licensed LOs, and they manage our database for us so that we always stay in front of it. So they're an extension of Brad and I. It's always Brad in my face, name, and recognition, but these are our team members in front of them saying, I'm calling on behalf of Brad and Jamie. I'm on Brad and Jamie's team. Can I get the updated information? And sometimes our clients go directly to them, and I don't even know about it. And the next thing I know, there's a loan in process. I'm like, oh, that's awesome. I didn't know they were moving. And there you have it.
So let's talk social media. Where do you feel like, one, loan officers are failing in social media?
Oh, well, the biggest way they're failing is not posting enough. And then the second way that they're failing is not doing more video and doing a call to action that is so it's so loud that it eclipses the value that they're trying to give. So bottom line is just get yourself on the camera, whether you think you look great or not, whether you fumble, whether you mess up your words, just keep rolling and keep doing it, because I can post a saying with some thoughts in a post, and I can post a picture, and I promise you it's going to get like 6 times as many clicks and views, because people just inherently stop when they see somebody familiar and like they want to know what you have to say. And so I will literally have my creative manager Google the most commonly asked mortgage questions, and that is my content for the week or the day. Keep it short, do it all the time. Again, Gary Vee said 12 posts per day across the 3 major platforms, which are TikTok, Facebook, and Instagram. 12 per day, whether they're little tiny reels, a quick little funny. Another trick with social media that I use is I'll do a personal post, genuinely, because I have lots of family members who are out of state and out of country. And then a little while later, I'll be like, by the way, let me give you this mortgage update. Guess why? Because now people go, oh, Jamie, I like Jamie. Picture of her dog, and she does mortgages. These are the ways that we can build our brand. I've built my brand over the last 2 years or so drastically from where I was. And I think that it's about consistency and staying in front of people.
I think you're right. And do you concentrate on timing of when you post, or do you not pay attention to that? I think that a lot of loan officers overthink all this crap, and then they end up doing what? Nothing. And how do I keep it? If I'm an LO, small budget, how do I keep this stuff simple?
You start right now. You start. Pick a thing. I'll give you one. What are impounds? What do credit scores mean? Do I need a down payment to buy a house? What are closing costs? Like, these are just silly little things that in 30 seconds, 45 seconds, you can get yourself on camera and explain and push it out there. Look at what your colleagues are doing. I've always said, steal my stuff. We call it curating content. Steal my stuff. Mm-hmm. There's plenty of business out there for all of us. If you like my stuff, steal it and use it for yourself. There's so much information out there that all we have to do is pay attention to it, and it's right there for us to use for our own business building. And so, I think that's really the key. Start right now. once you get a little bit of a following, then you can start getting really crafty with what time of day am I posting, when am I posting. Get in, do a little Google search on, on social media algorithms and educate yourself on where you're going to get the most visibility when you post things. But right now, the important thing is just to post. I don't care if it's 3:00 in the morning, post something, do something, anything, start right now.
Yeah. I also like asking questions.
Yeah.
Right? Like, hey, what would be one tip that you want to give a first-time home buyer before they buy their house?
Yeah, so exactly. I would say, understand your price range and what's comfortable for you versus what you might qualify for. Those could be very different things. Do that before you go out and buy a house. But there's actually a formula to that too, which is ask a question, answer the objection. Because if you're asking a question, for example, on a reel, the first thing people are going to do is go, "Oh, I already know that. That's not the answer," or "I already know that that's wrong." Then
Right.
answer the objection right away. And now they're
Yeah.
like, "Well, wait a minute, maybe I should keep watching this." And then you go into the message you want to portray.
Engaging more engagement into that post.
Yep.
What are three of your guys' biggest goals this year? What are you guys working on? What's your focus? Where's the vision headed?
Growth. So I've got some pretty lofty goals that Brad and I just met for coffee this weekend and went through. For me, it's intentional growth. So
Okay.
I want to see Amerifund quadruple, if not larger in size, with people who share our mission and our vision and the way that we do business. I have a philosophy. It is the simplest philosophy ever. Wake up and do the right thing. If you wake up and do the right thing, the right people will find you. Success will come to you. Financial wealth will hit you. Why? Because you just did the right thing. And when you do the right thing, it's really hard to argue with that. And so we do that. The people that we're bringing aboard do that naturally. And I believe that what will happen is that we will begin to see the snowball effect even more so than we already have. Growth, intentional growth for all the right reasons. And then continued expansion. So we're in 23, almost 25 states here shortly. I want to get nationwide, by the end of the year and cover those states that are a little tougher to get into, that take longer for the regulators to review and get that handled. And then from there, I think it's going to be about empowering and enhancing the business of the people we have. How can we make them level up? How can we help them build their businesses? How can we help them be prepared for that market relief that's coming so that they can absolutely kill it and quadruple their own businesses?
One of the things that I love about you is that you give back and that you're really involved in AIM. And tell me about that, just for everyone to really know. That's been a big passion that I've watched you do. Haven't really had that one-on-one conversation with you about that, but walk me through your involvement with AIM and what you're really working on in that organization.
Yeah, so I've been an AIM member for many years, since the early days. And for me, having been through so many market cycles as a broker, we just had no voice and no sense of community for so long, for decades. It was a dog eat dog world. There was nobody I could call. I mean, when Brad and I built our bigger company, there was literally nobody saying, "Let me get on the phone with you and give you a hand. I've done this before. Let me help you." That was not the mindset of our industry. Now it is. And I think that AIM has been the reason for that, really, because we've created a community that simply didn't exist before, of people that are genuinely willing to help one another. And so as you reach this point in your career where I am, you really do start to ask yourself, what's the end game? What's next? What do I want to do? I'll never be a retired person. I'm not going to be sitting on a porch, drinking my coffee. And if I do, it'll be because I'm about to head into something else that I'm doing. That's just me. I know it. So it's coaching, it's mentoring. It's creating space for the next generation of people that will follow us in this industry. It's asking yourself what kind of a legacy you're leaving. So when AIM approached me and said, we have a role for vice president of outreach, and the goal is to reach more members at a local level. The goal is to participate in building committees. So we've got homeownership committees. We have a veteran homeownership committee, a Black homeownership committee, a Hispanic homeownership committee, and an advocacy committee, all member run, where we're actually discussing the things that affect these specific communities, not only our members, but our consumers. and collaborating together to figure out how to make an impact. And so we talk about intention and impact. This is how I've been afforded this amazing opportunity to be a part of that. It's local events. We're doing quite a few local events. We call them AIM on Tour events across the nation here, starting in just a couple of weeks, where we finally have the ability for AIM members to see each other in person in a smaller group environment, in a really fun and casual place where they can just talk and shoot the breeze and talk about the things that are common to all of us, the things we struggle with, how we've overcome those things. So I'm really excited about my role. I love connecting people and building bridges. We've also been building bridges with other trade organizations, which is a big deal. And of course, we can't forget the voice we have on Capitol Hill and the fact that we raised over $360,000 for our PAC, and that we're actually being heard, that we're making an impact. Where we've helped to pass a bill in one state, and coming up here very soon in some additional states, where disabled veterans who previously could not get their property tax exemption until after their escrow closed and after they applied with the county can now realize that during the qualifying process, which puts more veterans in more homes. These are the things we're doing at AIM that are hugely impactful. And the AIM of 4 years ago isn't the AIM of today. This is an amazing organization, truly run by its members and its member leaders who have an ability to voice what is going on down to the loan officer level and help make a difference.
So cool. So cool. So I'll make sure I attach a link if you're not a member of AIM, or also you have a really big voice in a group on Brokers Are Better, and tons of information. And like I said, Jamie said it too. If you're gonna make it in this business, be a good Xerox machine and be a really good implementer. That is the trick. Just waiting and waiting and waiting and waiting to put something up. There's probably somebody that's already done it. You just got to go copy it. So make sure you get involved in AIM. What a great organization. And I got to attend an AIM event a couple weeks ago, and it was awesome. I had a great time. They had great speakers. I know you were on a couple panels, and I learned something each time I sit down and listen and open my ears, and I got to listen even more. Also, we have Cracking the Code coming up. That's our boot camp. Look, we're going to have learn about social media. We're going to learn about tips, scripts, things that you can implement. My goal is to give you 10 things that you can implement in the next 90 days. And I'm going to give you an LO playbook so that you have the things that you can go implement. Now, look, you're not going to copy my playbook page for page. You're going to steal 10% of it and then go implement it that fits into your business. So Jamie, if you're going to leave us with one thing of how we're going to push through in 2023, what would you tell every originator that's on this call to go do? Start
today getting in front of your database and building your social media brand. It is easy. It requires very little knowledge, very little effort, and very little time. Right now, today, before the end of the day, pick one thing that you're going to post on socials and spend 1 hour making sure your database is up to speed and it's tight.
So simple. Now, the big question is, will you do it? If you need to get a hold of Jamie or learn about her company, you'll see the link down below. Jamie, thank you so much.
Thank you, Chris. I have really enjoyed getting to talk to you a little more one-on-one. We should definitely do it more often. We appreciate Windsor both as one of your broker partners and also being an AIM partner. The support that you've given to the broker community is amazing. And I remember when you guys had just kind of started in wholesale not super long ago, and you really are a world-class organization. The service, the product mix, the people, the way that we can reach people within your organization and actually talk to them about the loans is really valuable and huge. And we appreciate you so much. So thank you guys for supporting AIM, for supporting brokers. We appreciate it so much.
Well, we appreciate you. You guys have a great, great day. You know what Jamie just said? Go do it. Just like Nike. Have a great day.
Bye. Take care.